started here. All right, good evening. Thanks for joining me for part 3 of Pom's homework assignment.
Fantastic.
So this is my brother-in-law. He is stepping in the role as grad student. He's also one of the smartest people I know on this earth, except that I haven't yet convinced him to buy Bitcoin, so maybe not that smart, but we're working on it.
Time will tell.
So what we're doing here is we're going through a concept, Bitcoin versus gold. I've explained a concept to my child, to a college student. You're also supposed to do a teenager, a grad student, an expert. We're putting you as grad student because you're super smart.
I'm not an expert though.
So we talked to the other two things about kind of qualities of what makes valuable money, why gold is good money, why we believe Bitcoin is good money. They actually stumbled upon scarcity and portability. So since you're so smart, we'll just freestyle a little bit. What do you think are why do you think gold makes good money?
It's the same everywhere, right? Like it has a properties that don't change.
So that's
other than scarcity, I guess.
No, that's great. Actually, that's what's known as fungibility.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have a gold coin and I go, like, you can exchange for another gold coin, they'll all have the same amount of value.
I guess if you're on another planet, maybe.
Yeah, but within our society, gold coins are very fungible. So that's great. And that's one thing where gold actually has an advantage over Bitcoin, because one of the advantages of Bitcoin is that the ledger is immutable. You've seen every transaction ever, every wallet it's bounced from. So there could be a society where they're like, hey man, that Bitcoin you got, like, that's a blood diamond Bitcoin or something like that. Or, someone took a hit on that. We're not going to accept that Bitcoin. You can't ever really stop a transaction from occurring, but people can discourage. They can say, I won't accept that. So in that sense, gold could be more fungible than Bitcoin. So that is a way to hop in on the way that gold is better than Bitcoin. Let's keep going.
What can I say?
Yeah. So you had talked what are some other reasons you think?
That gold is a good money. It is, even though it's fundamentally the same everywhere, it is, maybe this is portability. It's changeable though. Like you can do different things. You can make it into different things.
Yeah. So I think what you're talking about is gold has, value beyond its monetary use.
Right.
Like you can use it in electronics, use it in jewelry, all right. And we can talk about that, but specifically with regard to money, when you talk about it changeable, I think a good term for that is it's divisible, right?
Yeah.
Because you can melt it down and you can have a gold bar, which is worth however much, or you can take a gold coin. So in this sense, Bitcoin actually is a better money than gold, because gold, I mean, if you want to go from gold bar to gold coin, you can try and cut it with your butter knife. That's going to be pretty tough. Like, you got to melt it down. Bitcoin, however, is divisible up to 100 million units. So one Bitcoin at today's current price is about, well, I don't care about price, but it's however many X thousands. And you can divide that up into 100 millionth, called a Satoshi. So it is basically infinitely divisible, because you can actually even go further than that. Yeah. So we talked about, with my other less smart people, well, we'll call them younger people. We talked about scarcity. We talked about portability. You hit on those too. Talked about fungibility with you, and we talked about divisibility. You want to go for one more, or should we cut it short and let my homework cohorts go home?
Oh my God.
You think you can think of any other good reasons why gold is good money?
What makes a good money in general? That it's universally recognizable, like that it's...
So that's great. You're hitting, dude, coming off these off the top. I told you, the dude real smart. So what I think that ties into really nicely is verifiable, right? So if I want to come to you and I say, hey man, I'd like to buy that gold from you, and I try and I pass you like a piece of plastic, you're like, this is not gold. Right. And there are ways to test it. I'm told, I'm not a scientist, you're a scientist, that it is trivial, or it's easy to test gold. My guess is you probably need some type of reagent or a machine or something like that. I mean, maybe if it's plastic, you can probably be like, this is not gold. But I think if you had some dense metal that was shiny, you probably have to test it. So it is verifiable, but to my untrained eye, I would say it's maybe more difficult in my mind than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is verifiable because the whole purpose of Bitcoin is, it's not actually a coin. All Bitcoin is a ledger. So I just can't even think of a way that I could fake Bitcoin to give it to you. I mean, there's stuff called the double spend, where you can attack the network, where if you control the hash, you can like write a transaction that doesn't exist. A little more nuance than that. But to do that, you need to control 51% of the network, which is, I mean, at this point, probably trillions of dollars worth of computing power. So it's not very easy to fake, and it's just on the network. So he's got kids, I got kids, and you guys got a life. Don't want to listen to our homework assignment. This is, in our stages, we went through the child, we went through the college student, my man right here, we had the grad student, but maybe he's an expert. So thank you very much.
Bitcoin expert.
Yeah. We're in the Bitcoin expert dome, which is his kids.
Listen to my podcast. I'm sure my own podcast.
Yeah, the dude is a Bitcoin expert. All right, appreciate it, y'all. Thanks a lot.